Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this very special Thanksgiving episode of yet another Star Trek podcast. I'm your host. My name is Drew. I'm Drew for the morning, Drew for the afternoon, but I'm definitely not Brad for the evening. He's over there, all the way in Georgia. Brad for the evening. How's it going, buddy?
I feel like you're lying to the people. It's Happy Black Friday. That's the truth.
We don't call it that anymore. We call it the day after Thanksgiving, Brad, you insensitive guy.
Wow, Brad, it took you, let's see here, a minute 20. Less than that. No, it took you 1 minute to offend Majeed.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah.
Hey, is that a record, I guess?
Mm,
No, it's not because I've done it before we even started recording, so I guess not.
Mm.
Yeah, no, you're off to a hot start.
He's easily triggered, though. He's easily triggered.
He literally just called it Black Friday, like just out of nowhere. It's again, Brad, the day after Thanksgiving.
But the stores,
the stores, Brad, it's 2022.
There is a video game that I play, and it goes, now excited to announce Black Friday specials.
Brad, was that game from the 90s?
No, but technically it's from Japan, and they're very insensitive, so it's okay.
Ooh, way to go offending our potential Japanese listeners.
Brad is on a roll. He's offending two minority groups.
I've gotten in with the Japanese, man. Like, I'm married to one.
Ooh, wow, that is strike 3, buddy. That's like saying I'm not racist. I know a brown person. Well, I mean, technically you do, but
yeah,
that's you don't say it.
I mean, you may be the only one, but you know, it still counts.
Buddy, you live in Georgia. Come on, there should be more than one.
No, it's true. It's like I'm surrounded. I'm the minority in Georgia.
Drew is doing math right now and wondering how much he can cut with there still being a podcast.
He's like thinking, oh, I could keep the good morning part.
That's about it. The rest is gone. Guys, it is the day after Thanksgiving, and racist sales aside, I want to just kind of ask you guys how your Thanksgiving was.
Mine was great. I had nobody come over. It was just myself, my wife, my mother-in-law, and the baby.
Mm.
And I cooked.
You had a baby?
Yes.
What did the baby eat?
This is a good question.
A lot of milk.
Oh, you couldn't like blend up some turkey, you guy?
Have you ever had blended turkey?
I'm going to go with no on that one.
Majeed.
Yeah.
Did you have blended turkey for dinner?
What else do you think is in his protein shakes?
Right. You gotta put
That's all he does. He just blends the crap out of everything and then drinks it.
That's gross.
Listen, you may not know it, Brad. You just made a Simpsons reference. Homer was trying to scale a mountain, and he wanted to unlock the power of apples. No. He wanted to unlock food's potential, so he made everything into bar form. So he took like all the spaghetti, he put it into like a grinder, and he he makes this spaghetti bar. And moments after, he's like, do. Hello, hospital. It's me, Homer.
First name
thanks for
basis.
that. Right.
Anything for you, Majeed.
Wow.
What kills me is that you don't even know you made a Simpsons reference because there are so many out there.
I used to watch The Simpsons, but I think by season 18, 19, like I kind of just lost interest. I think right around the time when Family Guy first started showing up, Simpsons was like, that was like the peak of The Simpsons, and then it kind of just had a very big lull of not really interesting episodes to me.
30 seasons later, they're back in charge.
I've heard that like this season's like probably one of the better seasons for writing in a while.
I have not watched an episode in years.
Yeah, there are just some really classic episodes, and there are not many classic episodes now.
Well, they wouldn't be classics if they were modern. So
Well, no, there are modern classics. There are there are modern classics.
You still drunk on turkey juice, huh?
He's taking the gravy and just like taking shots of it.
I don't know if you can call it that, Drew. That just sounds nasty.
I know what I said.
He stands by it still.
Hey, was Charlie X a Thanksgiving episode?
That is a valid question. You know, we're always looking for holiday episodes of shows, but there's very few like Thanksgiving episodes of things that aren't like sitcoms. I think Charlie X was a Thanksgiving episode. We'll have to, you know what? That's a great poll for the audience. We'll have to put that out there. All right, guys. So this week we watched Court Martial, the episode where Majeed finally sees justice for all of the red shirts that Kirk has sent to their death. Or does he? Let's find out together, shall we?
Okay.
I feel like Majeed has been asking for like this type of episode for a while.
I have, and I was surprised by the outcome.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what your thoughts are as we go along.
I can tell you right now, or I can just wait.
Shortest episode ever. All right, folks. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
I suspect that this is going to get a low score from Majeed. Captain Kirk is on the surface of Starbase 11, chatting with Commodore Stone. The Enterprise is currently going under maintenance, and they have decided to ask the USS Intrepid to just kind of slide aside and make priority for the Enterprise. Kirk is reading for the third time a sworn deposition of the events that led to the death of a crewman, Benjamin Finney. Kirk explains that, unfortunately, Finney's death was a result of an ion pod that Finney was in being ejected into an ion storm. And there seems to be some discrepancy on whether or not the ship was at red alert at the time when the pod was ejected.
I want to jump in here real quick, Drew.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that it was on paper?
Yeah, so that happens quite a bit.
This is like, I'm looking at it and then like he's reading a paper document in this futuristic world of computers that they clearly have.
Yeah.
Nope. Just they need to have that paper copy.
Yep.
Bureaucratic BS in its finest.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if Hermes was stamping them too, you know?
Nice.
So Spock finally beams down with these copies and hands them over to Stone, and Stone starts looking over them. When Finney's daughter, Jamie Finney, enters the room and starts yelling at Kirk, like berating him as the man who killed my father. She has a complete breakdown, breaks down into tears, and Spock eventually escorts the girl out of the room, but then turns around and starts accusing Kirk of committing all sorts of crimes. Computer records are claiming that Kirk ejected the pod before placing the ship on red alert. Kirk is disputing this fact, but Stone orders Kirk to stay on the Starbase 11 so they can conduct an official inquiry as to what happened. A court-martial is in order.
Dun, dun, dun.
I also feel in this episode that nobody really keeps a secret, and word got out of his court-martial really quick. Because they go to the bar, and people that he knows is giving him this like glare of death.
There was a Lower Decks episode that talked about how quickly rumors spread within Starfleet. So it tracks.
Yeah. I mean, it's I assume it's a fairly small star base. We don't get visual of it at any point that I recall. But, we also don't have a sense of time. We don't know how much time has passed since Kirk decided to go get shit-faced drunk. after receiving the court-martial rulings. Maybe he's like, oh man, that's Stone. I need a drink.
And
then all of a sudden,
like a pretty big starbase, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I don't know if it's like after in their secondary, edit of the show, but they did include it.
Oh, in the remaster, they showed a picture.
Yeah, I don't know. I just posted in our chat, and if you look, like the chat actually just opens up with that. So that was what they showed. So it's like a couple buildings, looks like a downtown area, a nightlife skyscraper.
Yeah, I mean it looks like there's a pizzeria over there, a Pepe's.
Looks like maybe a little circus too. That big top right there.
Yep.
Really, a Pepe's?
Space giraffes.
Yep. Looking pretty nice.
Nice.
Now I want to visit Starbase 11.
Yeah, well, you could get a court-martial there too. So, Kirk and McCoy walk into the bar, and Kirk starts getting some pretty nasty glares from all his former acquaintances from the academy. They are really convinced that Kirk sent Finney to his death. Kirk is like, yeah, screw this, I'm out. He leaves. And a woman by the name of Ariel Shaw enters, and she just misses Kirk. McCoy pulls her aside, introduces himself, and it's a little unclear if he's hitting on her or not. Kind of got the vibe.
No, he's hitting on her. It's
he's clearly he's right.
Yeah,
Brad's like, he took my move.
Yeah, pretty much.
Turns out they're both mutual friends of Kirk, and McCoy tries to kind of put himself out there, saying, "Oh well, I'm the best friend of Kirk."
you get with me, you're in like Flynn.
Yeah. You want to get close to Kirk? Well, you can get
called abuse of power.
Close to me. So Stone begins the inquiry, and Kirk describes his relationship with Finney, kind of going over the fact that they were academy mates back when Kirk was just a young lad, and that Finney's daughter is even named after Kirk. James.
Yeah.
Oh.
It took me. I remember when they said that, I was like, "Wait, what was her name again?" It was James. Got it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch, but okay. But turns out that even though they were close in the academy, later on they served together on the USS Republic, and Kirk found a circuit to the atomic matter pile that had been left open. Apparently, this is a very dangerous thing. In another 5 minutes, the Republic could have self-destructed, killing everybody on board. So he closed the hatch, logged the incident, and Finney was reprimanded for it. Finney believed that Kirk's reporting of this incident delayed his progression throughout Starfleet. And thus, the motive has been established. Kirk doesn't like Finney.
He wanted to kill him.
Yes, because,
Reasons.
Secretly, Kirk wants to kill everyone on the ship wearing a red shirt.
It's funny. Like, this is the first trial we've seen of Kirk, but yet there's plenty of other mysterious deaths of his crew that I would imagine, in my opinion, feel a little bit more questionable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. So, Stone starts asking Kirk about the Ion Storm, and Kirk says he asked Finney to go into the Ion Pod solely because the duty roster said it was his turn. It was clear and cut and dry. It could have been any other crew member, but this is the rotation they had. This is the rotation they're working with. Finney entered the pod just as the Enterprise began to reach the edge of the storm. Kirk signaled yellow alert, and then shit hit the fan. Things started going crazy. Kirk signaled red alert, and then this should have been an indication at this point for Finney to get out of this pod. Kirk says he delayed and then ejected the pod. And then Stone says, "Nuh-uh, the logs say otherwise." Kirk can't explain what the logs say, but he says that it's impossible and the computer is wrong. Stone then stops the recording and suggests that perhaps, Kirk is a little stressed out. He needs a little shore leave. He needs to go hang out with some magical rabbits and, planes that shoot at people.
Pew pew.
Reference. Love it.
I'm trying to go deep with one of our worst episodes that we've seen.
Was it Shore Leave? That was the one?
It was shore leave, yeah. Stone says, maybe Kirk tried to cover up the incident, but Kirk is insulted by the idea and says he's going to fight it. He doesn't want to sweep this thing under the rug. This decision angers Stone. And he throws down. He's like, now you draw a court. Now let's go into trial. Kirk's like, bring it. Let's go.
Laying down the smackdown.
So
don't use the rocks phrase, please.
Okay, Pebble.
So
Thanks.
I feel it's a little weird that they kind of went this path to go from like just a casual conversation to like immediately jumping into court.
Yeah, they needed to progress the story, and I feel like this is the only way for them to really go about doing it.
I mean, I just assumed that they were going to go straight to court.
Yeah,
Space
drama, space law and order.
Dun-dun.
That was one of my pitches for Paramount Plus to take notice and,
Apparently they
their
did
ass.
in 1967.
Ooh, I did not like that twist, Drew. You got me excited and then you just crashed all my hopes. Well done, sir.
I'm so sorry. There's still time. So finally, Kirk meets up with Ariel Shaw. He hasn't seen her in quite a few years. She's very happy to see him, but she says that Kirk has kind of taken everything in stride and that he should take the case a little bit more seriously. He says, well, I'm innocent. I'm going to take this with that kind of confidence. And she says, well, the prosecution is going to be ordering it's Kirk versus the computer. And he's most certainly going to lose that case. Kirk asks her to be his attorney, but she can't. She recommends a different guy, Samuel O'Cogley. Kirk starts asking some more questions. He's like, well, how do you know so much about what's going on with this case? Well, it turns out that Shaw is the prosecution and that she is going to do everything in her power to throw him in jail. She throws down her drink and leaves the bar. Okay, she doesn't do that part.
No, but she did leave the bar, though. She did.
Yeah, she was very upset about that.
Did she pay her bill?
But
I think she left that. I think she left the bill for Kirk to pay.
Wouldn't that be a conflict of interest, though? Like with her being like friends of Kirk.
One would think, but as you and I know, Brad, Starfleet seems to have different rules when it comes to the courtroom.
Because I'm thinking about it, even if she goes, oh, I'm not going to show a conflict of interest, I can guarantee you I will prosecute him to the hardest, then that's the complete opposite of saying, well, then you have a conflict of interest, whereas you're going to be potentially extra hard on him because you want to prove that you don't have any conflict of interest, and so therefore you have a technical conflict of interest. I mean, that's just the way I see it.
And I would say that you're right. There's really no easy way for Starfleet to deal with the situation aside from just not having it, avoid it altogether, put somebody else in that spot. I mean, that's how they do it with juries.
Yep.
And I mean, judges too, I assume.
Yeah, because that's just, you could sue and be like, hey, this person was biased towards me. But I want to talk about his lawyer, his book-loving lawyer.
Yeah, they were talking about books an awful lot.
And they actually had real books. It's great. It's like they went to an actual lawyer.
Did they?
I don't know. Maybe. I just picture the Futurama lawyer, the chicken guy.
I'm
Nice.
sorry. I thought you was corn.
Yep. Like that's pretty much like when I saw that lawyer, that's the only thought in my head was that in the entire episode was just him. It was the chicken lawyer from Futurama.
Oh my goodness. That is delightful. So, officially the court-martial begins after Kirk hires Samuel T. Cogley, attorney at law.
Can you really say hire though? Because he's technically not paying him.
Maybe he's paying him in books.
Well, I mean,
true.
remember, in the court of law, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you.
But it's not hiring because they don't use money.
Right. So one is being provided for him. Keep up, Brad.
But is that really being provided because he can't afford it? Because technically he doesn't need to afford it.
You're going to put yourself into a logical circle, and then you're going to like blow your own brains out.
Oh, shit.
Let me ask you this, Brad. Which comes first, the chicken lawyer or the egg?
The chicken lawyer.
Okay.
Because he's got to lay it, and then he sends the egg back in time.
Ah.
I mean, haven't you seen the slingshot maneuver around the sun?
Oh, yes.
From Buzz Lightyear?
Shut up, Majeed.
So, the court-martial officially begins, and Shaw calls Spock up to the stand. Computer reads off his service file, and then Spock talks about how much he actually knows about computers. He knows all about them.
He programmed them.
He programs them. He says they are the most accurate computers ever. However, in this particular case, he says the computer is inaccurate. Shaw clarifies that the computer reports that Kirk was reacting to did not necessarily exist, and Spock says it's impossible because he knows Kirk. He insists it's not speculation. Kirk's characteristics are as predictable as gravity. There's no panic. There's no malice. There's no way that Kirk could have done this intentionally. But Spock does agree that this is his opinion after all. Then Shaw calls up the personnel officer of the Enterprise. She confirms that Kirk, when Kirk was an ensign on the Republic with Finney, that Kirk's entry about Finney's mistake with that door cost Finney a promotion. That was a quick cross-examination, though. In and out. Done. Then Shaw calls McCoy to the stand. McCoy is an expert in space psychology and the mental effects of long-term space travel. But he considers himself no such expert.
He's a jack of all trades, man.
He is. He knows something about it, you know? McCoy is asked if it's possible that if Finney hated Kirk, that Kirk would return the favor by ejecting him out into space. But McCoy is convinced that Kirk is not that kind of man. But Shaw forces Kirk to admit that it's possible. And meanwhile, Kirk's lawyer is not doing squat. This guy has not gotten up. He hasn't cross-examined any of these witnesses yet.
They only paid him for a few lines.
I guess so. Well, you know, it's all about that, the attorney being provided for you, I suppose. Stone actually questions Cogley's failure to cross-examine any of these witnesses. Cogley calls her testimony, quote, preliminary business, and then he calls Kirk to the stand himself. The computer rattles off Kirk's service records, and Shaw tries to put a stop to this, but Cogley insists that all records are read. Cogley asks Kirk if there was indeed a red alert before the pod was jettisoned, and Kirk says, yeah, I called red alert, and then ejected the pod, and he would do it again. He's like, I am responsible for the safety of my ship be above all. So, red shirts be damned, Majeed. The ship is more important.
Yeah, it's been destroyed like, how many times? 9? 20?
Up to this point? How many times? I don't think they blew up the Enterprise.
I mean, in general.
Oh.
Under Kirk.
Under Kirk?
Under any Kirk.
That's a loaded question. You don't even know about that yet.
But time travel.
He's trying to play the time paradox game.
There's no time paradox here.
Is there, though? Is there?
Damn it, Brad.
Brad is a walking time paradox.
It really is. So they show a video of the panel that Kirk's hand resides on to indicate whether or not they're at yellow alert or red alert. This is the first and only time I've ever seen this panel.
I feel like it's in a position that is easily unfortunately you could quite easily mispress a button.
Yeah, I mean, I think I saw a button there that also said like self-destruct.
Yep.
Or something.
Right.
You set your coffee
Let's go
down.
let's go ahead and put tape over this button here.
Yeah. I need to put my coffee down somewhere. Let me set it on this self-destruct button. Oh no!
Right. Don't press this button. We all die. We're just gonna put tape over it.
So this panel has red alert, yellow alert, and eject pod. And apparently, allegedly, Kirk, in fact, ejected this pod while yellow alert was on and then pressed red alert. And Kirk is like, yo, that's not how this went down.
See, like, why do you even need a button to eject a pod on a captain's chair? Shouldn't that be, like, one of the other communications officers or something like that?
Yeah, well, this brings up so many questions, right? Like, first of all, like, why... Like, what is this ion pod? Like, it's not an escape pod, right? But it's large enough for somebody to fit in and potentially...
It's a giant fishing pod. They fish for giant space whales.
Oh, okay.
They're hoping to get their white whale.
Well, and why... Like, how many are there? Is there only one? And why is there a command for that on the captain's chair, but not a command for, like, other pods, like warp core or, you know, escape pods? Like,
Eject warp core, yeah.
He had a grudge against Finney.
So Kirk only had to pick. He had a limited number of buttons he can put on there, and they're like, Kirk, what buttons do you want for your hotkeys? These will be your only hotkeys on this chair. And he's like, I want yellow, red, and eject the pod.
Well, Kirk says that's not how it went down, and Cogley suggests that maybe Kirk had a lapse in memory, but, you know, Kirk says, no, I'm pretty sure I didn't. I thought about it, and no, that's not possible. So meanwhile, back on the Enterprise, Spock decides to play a game of chess against the computer. Because, you know, his best friend isn't on trial or anything.
Well, no, it was something that Kirk said to him. I think it was like, you know, this is a game of chess, and like that resonated with Spock, and Spock's like, let me play chess.
Oh yeah, so there was like this survey that they were running on the computer, and Kirk suspects that something was wrong with the results of the survey. So Spock decides to use a game of chess to kind of prove that point. And just as he does that, Jamie Finney enters and asks Cogley to have Kirk change his plea, take a ground assignment, basically do anything to avoid full court-martial. Cogley says the change of heart's a little bit weird, but, you know, she's been reading through some old letters and between her mother, and her father, and he talked about how close she talked about how close her father was to Kirk, and it just didn't seem right to, you know, lock him up forever. Anyway, while this is happening, Spock is playing a game of chess. McCoy is furious. He's like, dude, why are you playing chess right now? Our best friend could potentially get locked up forever. And Spock's like, hey, man, I just won 5 games of chess in a row against the computer.
He's on fire.
He is on fire. He's like, I don't know what's going on. I took my pre-workout today. My 3D game chess is strong. I'm feeling good. I did an extra set.
Nice.
Checkmate.
Nice reference.
I was trying to get you engaged.
Thank you.
McCoy just doesn't understand. And Spock's like, well, I programmed this computer myself, so the computer should be beating me, or at best, I should be getting a draw. For me to beat it all these times in a row just doesn't make sense. And then all of a sudden, McCoy is just like astounded by this. He doesn't even think that like Spock's just on like a hot streak, right? But they feel like they got something to go with.
McCoy's really kind of like, dude, it's a game. Come on, move on.
Yeah, man. Like I'm pretty good at Street Fighter, but if I beat the computer 5 times in a row, I wouldn't think that like the game is broken. I would think that I'm just good at Street Fighter.
Well, what is like his argument is that by all accounts, since he programmed it, at best, it should only be a draw.
Right.
And it should always end up being a draw.
It's mighty confident for Spock to say that. Has he ever played Yahoo Chess?
It's mighty logical for Spock to say that.
I don't know. You guys remember Battle Chess? You guys ever play that?
Battleship.
No.
I recall, like, isn't that like certain components fight or something?
Yeah, so basically it's like this old like Windows 3.1 computer game. And it was chess, just regular old chess. But when you move the pieces, they would fight and like slaughter each other.
Yeah, I just Googled that. I remember that game.
It was so much fun. I used to love that game.
I was bad.
Never
at
even
it.
heard of it.
I would lose all the time.
Yeah. Me too. But it's fun. So now we're back in the courtroom again, and Cogley says he's now got new evidence, and he needs to show the evidence. He cannot tell the court what it is. But they decide to allow it in the name of humanity fading in the shadow of the machine. So the court reconvenes aboard the Enterprise. And in the briefing room, Spock testifies he is now beaten the computer 5 times in a game of 3D chess, which the computer has no knowledge of the game prior to, right? He says the computer is equal to his. It should be a stalemate each time, assuming that he commits no mistakes, and he's Spock, so of course he commits no mistakes. And he believes that somebody either accidentally or deliberately adjusted the programming of the computer, and therefore its memory banks. He's calling that record of the video of Kirk ejecting the pod a complete fraud. The only 3 people who could have done it: Kirk, Spock, and Lieutenant Commander Finney.
Dum dum dum.
Majeed, how do you feel about this plot twist?
That was actually pretty cool. How they eliminated everybody, and found them.
It's rather convenient that it's only those 3 people.
Again, I really wish that Kirk would have rotted in jail, but hey, I can't get everything I want.
There's still
only
time.
in the first season. Yeah,
there's still time.
Yeah, my headcanon somewhere, Kirk is getting his comeuppance.
Majeed's alternate universe.
Yeah, in the Kelvin timeline, Kirk gets his comeuppance.
So Cogley decides to ask Kirk to describe his search for Finney after the storm. He said it was a phase 1 search, a painstaking effort to find a crewman who may be unable to respond. What about if the crewman chooses not to be found? What if he just turns off his comm badge, hides? It's like when searching for somebody, it's natural to assume that they want to be found, right? Well, what if they don't want to be found? And it's a huge ship. This guy could hide anywhere. Cogley declares proudly. He says, "I do declare Lieutenant Commander Ben Finney is not dead."
Thank you, Drew.
So now they're on the bridge, and the court demands an explanation. Cogley defers to Kirk to conduct an experiment, and Kirk orders everybody but the command crew to leave the ship, including Cogley, who claims he has an errand of vital importance. And then they start doing this crazy stuff where McCoy uses a sound, a white sound device.
It's a microphone. Let's
a microphone.
Let's just be honest here. It's a microphone.
But basically, they pipe in the audio of everybody on the ship's heartbeats, and then he uses this microphone to turn the audio off, because that's how microphones work, guys. They turn the audio off.
No, man. What it is, it's a sophisticated software. It's kind of like Adobe something or other, and they're like, hey, here's what the heartbeat sounds like. Okay, that heartbeat, you gotta remove that from the sound. All right, we're good. But you know what? We have to do this for each individual person, right? So we got to do every person in this room. But you know what? There's people in the transport room. We don't have to do it for them though. We're good with them. Like you know, we couldn't have flipped a switch and did it automatically for every person in this room. We had to be dramatic, specifically for this room, and do each person individually.
Right. It's very, very bizarre.
Yep.
So after everybody possible has been eliminated from this equation, there's still a single heartbeat, and they rule that this heartbeat must be Ben Finney. So Kirk heads down to engineering, and he looks for him. He's got a phaser in hand, and Finney looks absolutely batshit crazy. He's got the bags under his eyes. He's got the eyes open wide. He's a little bit stubble. He hasn't slept in days.
He's been drinking his own piss.
He's been drinking his own piss. He's got a...
Hang on. How did Brad make that logical leap?
Because that's what the crazy people do.
Also, there's a volleyball in the corner with a handprint on it. Not really sure where that came from. Anyway.
Oh, wow. Nice.
It took you a second there, Majeed.
That took you a minute.
That was nice. That was good.
Yeah, I don't feel like it was.
No, I can use that. I can use that reference in Twitter.
Can you? Can you though?
Oh no, I can. Oh, buddy, as a out of context spoiler, I totally can use a Wilson or Castaway gif. Thank you. And Drew did it for me.
I did, but then it took you 20 seconds to respond.
It wasn't 20 seconds. It was like I don't know.
No. In truth, what it is Majeed's just playing around with his phone.
Yeah,
he's not paying attention to the.
Are you playing Candy Crush?
That's what?
Are you playing Candy Crush? Or
no, I'm playing Marvel Snap because they've officially advertised. They sponsor us now.
Oh,
I wish they did.
Oh, okay, yeah. Where's that money going? To your pocket?
For us to get more Marvel Snap cards.
I could use some new variants.
Brad.
You know, I've been calming down with playing that game for a bit.
Because you have baby?
No, because I'm at level 700 or something, so therefore I almost never get new cards now.
You're at level 700?
Don't you have like a day job?
When I sit, you know, for when that came out, I was playing it for about 2 weeks before you two were even touching it.
It's true. It's true.
I was playing with it for 2 weeks before you guys touched it. Okay.
And I was pretty much there in the chair with the baby in my arm, and then I had like one hand to use the game, so there I was playing it that way. There, Majeed, in your face.
Listen.
I don't know why I said that, but you know what? In your face. I'll go with that.
All right, so
Drew, go back to our show.
We're not done here, Brad.
We are
At
not.
some point we have to revisit that.
We'll circle. We'll circle back to the snapping in a moment. So Finney points a phaser at Kirk, but he's like, "Yo, I think killing you would be too little. I'd rather blow up the ship instead." And he decides that he's going to try to blow up the Enterprise. Kirk tries to reason with him, and then they have a fight. They have a Star Trek fight full of double-handed swings and rolling around.
How did Kirk's shirt get ripped?
I don't know, but it is absolutely the same ripped shirt in every episode.
That right there, I was like, shit, man, his shirts are made out of paper.
But Drew is right though. It's like
it's the same.
They rip in the same exact place.
It is.
It's like
it's the prop department shirt.
It's like Kirk is saying, "Hey guys, I need you to replicate a shirt for me in a replicator. Just replicate it with less than sturdy fibers in the pecs area."
Let me ask you guys this: is Kirk the original Hulk Hogan with the ripped shirts?
No, because Hulk Hogan did it himself, where he actually pulled at it, I feel.
But we have no proof that Kirk isn't also doing it himself in the heat of the moment.
I mean, the Hulk, he clearly cut part of the shirt. That was obvious. Because it's very impossible for you to rip your own shirt without there being that cut.
Hey man, I saw somebody rip a phone book in half. They said it once that's impossible. That's not impossible. It's got to be real if I saw somebody do it on the internet.
You know how conspiracy theories start, Brad?
Nothing like
With
that.
people spewing nonsense like, hey, I heard one time that this guy told me he ripped the phone book in half.
It was true, though. You got to see it. It's like two hands. And he's like, and it's like, rah.
Drew, can you isolate those sounds and let's use them at some point?
Sample
else?
I will do my best. I will find a way.
Thanks.
So Kirk tries to reason with Finney. They have a little Star Trek fight, and then Spock tells the court that there's time is running out to beam back to the planet because the ship's about to blow up. But Cogley decides instead to bring Jamie aboard. It's like, hey, the ship's going to blow up, so here's your daughter. Kirk asks Finney whether or not he wants to kill his daughter in the process.
That was kind of like, to me, planned.
Yeah, 100%.
I thought that was a bluff.
Well, because they knew, like, it's kind of like, oh, we know you're going to try to fucking kill us all, so we're going to bring your daughter on board, so you're going to have to kill her too.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it feels.
Pretty much. Well, Finney has a change of heart, tells Kirk where to fix everything, and he jumps in the Jeffries tube, fixes the ship, and everybody is happy and alive.
By the way, he fixes everything by unplugging wires that he had no idea what to do. He just started unplugging stuff.
Sounds like our old customers.
Right. You just, you unplug it and hope for the best.
That sounds like it's a future me problem.
Mm. Present me wants to save the ship. Future me wants to blow it up.
Future Brad is also present Brad because that's how
that's how it works, yeah.
Well, at this point, Uhura takes over the navigation controls, power returns, and everything is great. Stone rules that the court is dismissed, there are no findings, and it is not necessary. And Shaw has no objections.
Speaking of which,
go ahead.
How does that work in terms of in the future? And you have lawyers, and in a case like this, do they lose that case? Does the prosecutor lose the case because it got thrown out? I'm confused. Are we operating within the same court of law rules in Starfleet as we would in, like, I don't know, now?
No.
No. Are you just saying that to shut me up, Brad?
Yes.
Well,
okay.
I don't really understand how, like, JAG rules go, like that sort of thing. Because I mean, this is a military, so their procedures may be a little bit different from, like, public court, I don't know. But in any case, Enterprise gets ready. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was gonna say that's good enough for me until the new, Law and Order Starfleet comes out.
Mm-hmm. So the Enterprise prepares to depart, and Shaw delivers a gift from Cogley on the bridge. It's a book. Now Cogley is representing Finney in his own trial, so he can't be there to give it to him personally. She then looks around the bridge and says if her lieutenant kisses a starship captain on the bridge of a ship, would that cause a complete breakdown of discipline? Kirk's like, no, baby, bring it in. And they smooch. And then Kirk wishes Shaw better luck next time. And she counters. She's like, I had pretty good luck in losing the current case. Meaning, like, that kiss was worth it.
Yo, man.
Kirk is thirsty. Such a thirsty guy.
Well, I would say Shaw's pretty thirsty, too.
Well, I mean, did she see Kirk with his shirt ripped, and that's why she's thirsty?
Oh, I don't know. That's a serious question.
Man, I'll be honest, like, that last kiss just kind of was like, what? Why?
Yeah.
See, Brad, I thought you were going to say, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. So Kirk with his shirt off, I was thirsty too. Like, I thought that's where you were going with that. Because that's kind of where I was going with that.
I mean, It's not like like you seeing The Rock naked and you're like, man, I really want to jump on that.
To sum up the episode.
What's Brad? What the hell? No, you can't gloss over that. What? But just really quick, Drew, and I promise I'll let you close and summarize this. I saw Black Adam, and I kept turning to my daughter saying, Nana, Spanky. I call my daughter Spanky, by the way. I'm like, hey, Spanky.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you. For no reason, by the way, I just call her Spanky, and we're going to start a podcast, Spanky and the Pebble. Look for that. I'm like, hey, that man is huge. Like, you see his like his shoulders, you see his neck, you see his arms. She's like, stop, just stop. You're embarrassing yourself. I said, it's just us at the house. She says, yeah, I'm embarrassed for you. I'm like, oh, that's not nice. That's not nice.
Hey, your daughter will forever be truth speaking to you.
Yeah, it would appear so. Yeah. But I'm sorry, Drew. Let's summarize up the episode there, buddy.
To sum up the episode, Kirk really doesn't hate all red shirts despite Majeed's proclamations. In the future, you can kiss your prosecutor. And Spock is as good as the computer at chess.
But was
not
he
better.
Really a red shirt, though? He was technically yellow.
Semantics.
Damn it, Brad!
So I guess technically this means that this was not a trial for Kirk and the countless red shirts he's lost. It's because the man was wearing a gold shirt. Means,
so Majeed still has not gotten retribution.
No,
or
he
justice.
hasn't. And so therefore you can still make a claim that Kirk hates the red shirts. And
Hashtag red shirt justice.
And on top of that, Starfleet only cares if they're wearing a gold shirt. So Starfleet
He keeps getting away with it.
Starfleet hates the red shirts too. So now you can say Starfleet hates the red shirts. Here I am, like with Charlie and me, like this is my whiteboard here with all the strings connected. But like that's what I'm saying, guys.
Oh, that was adorable. You trying to make a Sunny reference to, to be like Drew and I.
Hey, I've seen like the first season and then a bunch of memes.
Carol.
Don't get that one. Sorry.
It's the same Drew, no, go. No, move on. No.
Well,
we're doing it.
Guys.
Was that in season 1? No, it wasn't.
No, I don't think so. The seasons are so short.
Oh my God.
So
he's
guys,
talking about Pepe Silva. It's fine. I'm gonna.
How did you guys feel about this episode? Majeed, let me start with you.
He can't keep getting away with it, by the way. Kirk has killed countless people. He can't keep getting away with it. I think it was a letdown. And I hope that there are more times where Kirk is put on trial for his actions. But in terms of you're looking for a number, are you?
Well, we haven't gotten that far. We got
okay. Thank God.
It's like I don't know. I'm gonna pull a number out my ass.
What is with you and my butt today, buddy?
It's sexy.
I mean, you said your butt's been hurting. I gotta find a reason why.
I told you that in confidence before we recorded, man. I told you that in confidence.
Oh God!
He's like, I fell asleep last night and I woke up, my butt hurt. I don't know why.
No, yesterday was leg day, you loser. Please, let's not get that trending on the internet.
Hashtag Thanksgiving stuffing.
The stuffing goes in the bird, not yourself, Majeed.
Oh, it's a bad day when Brad's getting rips on you. Jeez. My God. Listen, there needs to be more episodes where Kirk gets his comeuppance. He can't keep getting away with it, Drew. So, I wish for more.
How did you feel about your first exposure to a Star Trek courtroom episode?
This is the second one, isn't it?
Have we had one already? Oh yeah, I guess you're right. The cage or menagerie.
Menagerie.
Yeah.
Menagerie.
Menagerie.
You're right.
You pronounced it wrong.
You're right. Whatever. No, that's my mistake. You're right. So now we've gotten two.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like? Do you like the style of episode?
I think I think it's a blatant attempt to keep the budget low.
Oh, sure.
You know, you film everything in basically one location.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to save on production costs.
No,
It's
and like this is like that's kind of, I feel like, a flashback episode where they're like revisiting the season and they're like putting clips in, be like, oh, remember when we did this?
Right, but there's two ways though. So you either A, film in one location with a limited amount of cast, or B, you do a clip show. So those are two ways that production saves on costs.
But regardless of whether or not it was a cost saving thing, you can still make a good episode out of that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I think it was a solid episode. Again, I'm not a fan of how the story played out. One, when Finney's daughter burst in the room, you know, Spock could have done the Vulcan sleeper hold, but he didn't. That was a missed opportunity for me. But no, it was overall a solid episode. You know,
Brad, how did you feel about it?
It was an episode. I think overall it was it made me laugh in a lot of not intentional ways, where it was like, hey, yeah, like you should totally be laughing at this, but it was more of those, this is kind of ridiculous laugh. The, you know, the over dramaticness and the cheesiness, the spreading of the Kirk is court-martialed on trial like pretty quickly stuff. Like the overall episode was okay.
Yeah.
There were, like, to your point, Majeed, a lot of things that were kind of very simplistic ways in explaining things. Overly dramatic daughter. I feel like that was so, like, the director on set was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna get my daughter in this episode, so we'll just throw her in there being overly dramatic.
I mean, the greatest directors have done that, so you're probably not too far off.
No, but it was an interesting episode to the point where I totally knew how it was going to end, in the sense that Kirk was going to be found not guilty. I feel like these type of episodes have like such low stakes that there's really, it's very predictable in that sense. Like, to me, it was like from the beginning of the episode, once I heard like the reason why, I called either the daughter did it or the guy is not dead. Because it was clearly the daughter was distraught, and it was she was unhappy with Kirk, and so it was like either she's in it, and then actually I thought it was going to be the daughter when she kind of went back to him and was like, oh, I don't want you to, why don't you take a deal? Like, I don't want you to go away for this type thing. And I thought it was like, all right, cool, it's probably the daughter then, because she clearly has some sort of insight. But I think that was just them throwing a red herring into the mix.
Yeah, it definitely kind of felt suspicious. I would agree with that too. It's tough because, like you said, like these episodes tend not to have stakes, so they need to take an approach where they do something with that, right? Like, you know, Kirk is not going to get prosecuted. You know that nothing long-lasting is going to come from this. But if you have a story that you could tell that doesn't really try to reinvent the cast or put the cast in jeopardy, but instead focuses on maybe some sort of an ethical problem, kind of like A Measure of a Man from Next Generation, where they put Data on trial for whether or not he was a sentient life form.
So I would have rather them had like another crew member on trial for the death of the murder of that guy, because in that way it's like, hey, you know, did he really do it? Is he guilty? I mean, you know, it's with older TV shows, like, it's kind of frustrating when they just put those throwaway cast members in where you know that there's nothing going to happen to that person. But like, I would have rather have had that, because then I'm like, oh, is this person going to go away? Is this person going to, you know, be here or potentially reoccur in another episode? I don't know.
Right. And to Majeed's credit too, you know, it's very bizarre that Kirk's console has the button that launches that pod. Like, that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
I need hotkeys on my chair that says, "Get me coffee," and "Quiet the baby,"
Right.
and give me dinner."
Like Kirk didn't even have to hold down the control button before he pressed that. You know, like yeah, I need to hold down like 2 buttons just to take a screenshot on my computer.
You need
Really?
a hotkey to just do one thing.
Use Green Shot, man. Green Shot, you hit the button once and ba-doo.
Or
trying to make a joke.
Print screen.
Oh, my bad.
I was trying to
I
make
thought
a
you were
joke.
I thought you were airing a gripe about how basic your computer is.
Yeah.
No.
Majeed's really good at killing our jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, you talked about pulling stuff out of my butt like 5 minutes ago, buddy.
I mean, that was realistic though.
I hate you.
Anything else you guys want to mention with this episode, or should we get to giving it a score?
Let's get to giving it a score. Score.
What?
Score. I didn't say anything. Score.
Mark for edit.
No, I'm going to leave that in too.
It's a flub. I accept it. We all can't be perfect like Mr. Drew.
In my print screen button. Brad, let's start with you.
Do you really have to start with me?
Yeah,
Okay.
because we always start with Majeed.
All right, cool. So overall, the episode, it entertained me to a point where it held my interest. It was, to me, very ridiculous, very predictable. But I don't think it was by far a bad episode. It just, to me, was just okay. I'm trying to remove like today's standards to things, because it was like, hey, you know, the whole heartbeat part where it was hey, you know, let's use this microphone to record the people's hearts in this room and then remove them. But you know what? We got guys in the transporter room. They don't matter. We'll just, you know, press this other button and that automatically does it. So why didn't you press the damn button for this room?
I thought that was so funny.
It, to me, it was probably like a 5.
5.
Yeah. Like I didn't hate it, but I definitely did not like love it anywhere close to it.
How about you, Majeed?
I give it I also give it a 5. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It held my interest for literally half the episode.
Okay.
and that was it. The first half. Otherwise, you know, it was an episode, like Brad says.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was there. And obviously, like to your point, Drew, nothing was gonna come out of it. But I could hope.
Yeah.
I could hope. If this, you know, even if we remove today's standards, Brad, an episode like that done today, that's something that's going to take the entire season arc or part of the season arc.
No, I don't think so. I kind of feel like that would be maybe a 2-parter.
You think so?
Yeah, because like courtroom trials, unless it's a courtroom show, it's gonna be 2 at the most. Because you're gonna have the first part of the episode. The first part of the episode will be the actual event where the person dies, and then the second part is gonna be like the actual trial. Maybe like a third one if they really want to stretch it. But I think I think Discovery would do that, where they would put it in the 3-part one. But I don't think it really would be too long.
Yeah.
Well, we have the opportunity. Oh, well, no, actually, if I say that, that's a spoiler for Strange New Worlds. So, you know, maybe I don't say it. So, the season finale sets up something in season 2 that could potentially be dealing with that. So,
right.
Very careful with spoilers, unlike Brad.
No, I drop bombs left and right.
He also calls farts bombs. Anyway, what do you think, Drew?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys, although I think I'm a slightly higher on this episode with a 6. I enjoy these types of episodes. I realize that it's about the journey. It's not about the destination. with the courtroom episode. You know, we all know that Kirk is not going to be locked up or lose rank over this or anything like that. But it was fun to kind of see how they got there and where they were going with it. And some of the leaps, as ridiculous as they were, like I thought the computer thing that Spock dealt with the chess stuff, I thought that was kind of ridiculous. But it was fun still. Like, it wasn't like completely like just not plausible to me. So I enjoyed it. Now, that said, going back to my usual determination with these episodes, would I put this on from the start? No, but if it was on TV, I'd probably leave it on. So I think a 6 is a healthy number for me.
Yeah, all right. I'll allow it.
Yeah, it's, I feel it's kind of a very unique situation where both Majeed and I have graded the same.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers, and they are few and far between where you guys are given the exact same number. It exists, it happens, but not often.
Majeed, we're in sync.
Can I change my score?
No.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
You locked it in, buddy.
I used the term "locked it in."
So next week, guys, we are watching The Return of the Archons. The Enterprise discovers a planet where the population act like zombies and obey the will of their unseen ruler, Landru.
Landru?
Landru.
When did you get a cameo, Drew?
I got nothing.
Well, so Brad, I think a better, explanation is there's Landru, there's Air Drew,
C Drew,
C Drew.
The C Drew is the
Super Drew.
Is the one that floats the most.
Yeah, I drive a Super Drew.
Oh,
goodness. All right, guys. Let's wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next time.
Have a good one.
Well, you'll hear us next time. We'll see you. Ooh, that was weird.
Shut up, Majeed. Say goodbye.
Okay. I'm gonna do it because I want to, because he told me to, you loser. Good morning. Well, no. Good night, everyone.
You should just leave it on good morning and then you're good.
Don't let me give you demerits.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to yet another Star Trek podcast. We're part of the Retro Sessions Network. This episode was recorded on November 25th, 2022. It was hosted by myself, Drew, and I was joined by Brad and Majeed. I'm responsible for editing this episode. Majeed is taking care of our lovely photographs and social media, and Brad writes our synopsises, except for today where I just kind of winged it on the fly. Special thanks go out to William Grobelar Music for our music Warp Speed and To the Stars. Head on over to his SoundCloud page, check out more of his wonderful work. And thanks to George Ratau for making us look like Lower Decks characters. If you'd like to hire him, he is a $5 that you can do so. And check out some of his wonderful work. We have a link for that in the show notes as well. If you'd like to chat with us further, the best way to do so is on social media. Hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Yet Another ST Pod, or you can swing on by our website where you can find all of our content at www.yetanothersTpod.com. If you enjoy our podcast, we would love it if you could head on over to your podcast app of your choosing, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever it is. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a rating and a review. 5 stars would be appreciated. It goes a long way and helps support the site and gets us out to more and more listeners. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for listening.